So, good evening, Ma'am Sheila Parkin Aguhog. So, mag-introduction din mi Ma'am. So, we are the student of Ma'am Sandra in the subject Science, Technology, and Society, or the STS. So, in this subject or the activity, we are gathered to interview one of those mga agriculturists na naka-engage na og researches. And our member prepared a few questions that you are going to answer, ma'am. And the first one to ask a question is me, ma'am.
Culture? Is it important to conduct a research? A research? Yes or no? And why?
Uy, pang Miss Universe ang question. Yes, Miss Dahlia. It's very important as agriculturists that you conduct research. Kasi everything that you do should be based on science. It should be based on facts. Kasi without research, yung mangyayari when you do something, para yang suntok sa buwan. But with research, you will be sure that you minimize the risks kasi nga alam mo yung mga limitations ng ginagawa mo, alam mo yung mga possible outcomes in cases na there are, let's say may mga you encounter problems along the way, so alam mo kung saan ka kukuha ng remedy for those happenings. So very important yung research. When I was in college, I always saw to it that hindi ko pinapabayaan ang research. So when I graduated my course, I was automatically under the research Fisheries Research and Development Center. So that's yung about siya sa fisheries pero on the research side. So very important. I know that during college, yung research may be tedious. It would entail a lot of time, a lot of energy. It will rack your brains. It will challenge you even financially, especially your patience. But remember that as you train yourselves, not just na maging agriculturists, also train yourselves to be researchers because it will be very helpful in your job someday. Follow-up question, Miss Dahlia.
Then the second to ask the question is Miss Aguhog.
Pareho kami ng apelyido nito
Good evening, ma'am. So here's my question. Can you state what are the benefits of your research to the environment? Again, can you state the benefits of the research you conducted to the environment? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Angel. So, before I tell you the benefits of the research that I once conducted, let me tell you what my research was all about. So, as you see, fisheries is classified under agriculture. So, part ng agriculture ang fisheries. So, when we say agriculture, alam niyo naman na it has a very broad spectrum, fisheries being one of them. So, the research I conducted was the presence of Escherichia coli or E. coli bacteria in oysters found in one of the major oyster supplier farms here in our municipality. Ang daming bumibili ng oyster, ng talaba, ang daming nag-i-enjoy. But the question that really triggered me to conduct that study are the oysters we consume safe for us? So only to find out after the process of my research, yung resulta nun, there was a high content of E. coli. So ang E. coli is a bacteria. it's an organism that you can find in human waste. So, ibig sabihin, habang kinakain ng tao, ang oyster na yon, all along, yung kinukonsume din ng oysters is yung fecal matter o yung poop ng mga tao living in the residential area. So it was only then that it was found out that the oysters farmed in the area was not safe for human consumption unless it is cooked properly, unless it has undergone the process called depuration, kung saan nire-release nila yung mga harmful substances na in-ingest nila because oysters are filter feeders. So, pinifilter nila yung tubig, yun ang nagsiserve ng food nila. So, it has been helpful because number one, it was the first research ever conducted on our area with regards to the safety for consumption of those oysters. Yung naging significance nito was number one, people were warned that they have to cook the oysters well, that they have a second, it has become a baseline data, and what happened was the local government unit initiated a move na lahat ng mga nasa shoreline, lahat ng mga squatters who do not have the proper toilet disposal system, inalis sila and they were relocated. And third is, it served as baseline data. Kasi when we conduct our research, we can say na effective yung research natin. When using our results, may ilan pang mga researchers who conduct a deeper kind of research based on the data that we have come up during the conduct of our own personal research. So on my part, I think there were researchers from UP who conducted the research based on my baseline data. There were also researchers from the same school where I graduated from. So, wag nating ismulin kahit akala natin insignificant yung study. No study or no research is ever insignificant as long as you yield truthful results. Okay?
The third one to ask is Miss Naida Alfaid.
Hello, ma'am. This is my question. How you organize and prioritize your work?
Okay. Organize and prioritize. I make sure that I do not bring work at home. When it comes to office hours, when it comes to field hours, during that time, because I'm working in the government, during the time, 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, you know that you are using your time productively. Hindi ka nagdidili-dali, hindi ka nagpapabanjing-banjing sa work mo, hindi ka nagbubulakwal sa work mo. And when you come home, make sure that you do not bring your work with you because work should be separate from your family. Work should not interfere with your time of rest. Kasi kapag hindi ka rested, nagtatrabaho ka sa gobyerno which has a lot of expectations from you, ang daming demands, you will be burnt out. So yung mangyayari, hindi ka rin magiging effective sa trabaho mo in the office. So balance. Work hours should be allotted for bakbakan na trabaho, for wholehearted work, and family hours should not be stolen from you. So it's a matter of work-life balance. And at the same time, when you know, like pag kasakit ka, masama ang pakiramdam mo, huwag kang mag-aatubiling magsabi sa HR nyo, I am sick, I need to rest, I need to prioritize my health. Or otherwise, pag compromised ka, compromise din yung trabaho mo. Pag compromise ang trabaho mo, who will suffer? Yung mga siniserve mo na public, the farmers and the fisher folks that you serve. So it's very important when you work someday, even in the government or maybe in the private sector, kung pwedeng maiwasan ng overtime, iwasan ng overtime. Do not force yourself to function beyond your capacity. Give it your all, but you have to know your limitations. Give it your best, but you have to learn when to say no, when to quit, when to stop. Because yung yung magiging mindset, yung mindset ko noon ganito eh. Pag nagtrabaho ako, dapat buhos lahat, which is good. But I have experienced working straight 48 hours with no sleep, not enough food, just several cups of coffee. And in the end, my health was jeopardized. So, hindi siya maganda. After that, my work was jeopardized because you will not be able to report for work. You will not be effective. Hindi magiging ganun ka-sharp yung utak mo. So, it's very important that you set yourself work-life balance. Yun yung dapat wag mawala sa isip nyo. Work-life balance. Dapat walang nakawan ng oras. Don't let your work steal your time away from your family. Okay, Miss Naiza, is that okay?
Yes,
Or do you have
ma'am.
any follow-up question?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Ang babait niyo, wala kayong follow-up question.
So the next question is that in the research you made, how science and technology help in agriculture?
Ano yun, Miss Dalia? Medyo choppy ang dating. How does science and technology help
Help
in agriculture? Okay. This is based on my research, naniniwala ako that although we have traditional farmers, we have traditional fisher folks, we have to constantly educate them that everything that they do should be based on science. And everything that they do should be a continuing strive to improve ng technology. Kasi, di ba, let's say for the corn crop sa mais. Dati, when we say whatever na species ng corn, variety ng corn, it's good. It's what our corn farmers use. But now, there are varieties or recent technologies na let's say they have parang nagiging GMO siya, nagiging genetically modified siya in a good way that nawawala yung mga corn borers, yung mga stem borers because nagiging resistant yung corn. Now, on my research, which is more on the side of fisheries, magagamit mo yung science because dapat di ba sa research natin systematized. You have to know which statistical tool to use. You have to know kung ano doon. You have to know to ask the right questions, especially if you have respondents. If you use questionnaires, like you have your personal and private toilet, where do you dump your waste? You have to know when and how to ask those questions. Now, with regards to technology, I had my sample submitted in a laboratory from the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, which is an attached agency of the Department of Agriculture. So they conducted a test, but they isolated ang dami kasing processes na ginawa. Merong from the petri dishes, yung naglalagay ka ng reagents mo so that you'll see if dadami ba yung bacteria and everything. You have to use the right kind of equipment. So, very crucial yung science and technology when it comes to research. Especially when you need your numbers to be exact. Like, kailangang mabilang yung most probable number of bacteria na nasa isang petri dish. So, kailangang exact yung counting. So, that's where technology comes in. That's where the right equipment comes in. That's where controlled environment comes in. And technology also in the sense na you'll be able to teach yung respondents mo kung paano isagawa yung proper na farming ng ganong species. Because there are technologies na already established na for them to use lang. Kumbaga naka-package na, package of technology for certain commodities na dapat i-employ nila, dapat na gamitin nila so that magiging mas malinis, mas effective ang kanilang farming ng kanilang aquatic products. So this goes the same with even with rice, even with corn, even with livestock. So lahat ng yan very research based and technologically dapat at par ang ating mga farmers and fisher folks. Some more questions?
So ang last question is that what is your message to those students who will engage a research about the science, technology, and society to agriculture?
Okay. My message to the students who wants to engage in research, do it. Whether you have the support of many, kasi merong iba that they do not conduct researches because they don't have the funding. But in your own little way, kahit wala kang sponsor, conduct a research. Start with small researches. And don't ever think na merong pumapalpak na research. When you conduct your research, have a blank mind. Just have one question. Don't think na wag mong iisipin na ay magre-research ako, dapat ganito yung may-yield na result ng aking research. Don't do that. Or else you will be biased. You will be working towards a certain answer for your research. You will not be objective. So when you conduct your research, be objective, have a blank mind, be open to all possibilities, be open to failure even, be ready to repeat your experiments or researches again and again and again as long as in the end you will have yung optimum at alam mong totoong resulta ng research nyo. Now, as young agriculturists, remember this. Darating ang panahon that only those who can plant, raise livestock, raise aquatic commodities will be able to eat. And dumadami na ang buildings, dumadami na ang daan, dumadami na ang concrete sa lahat. You know, and our farmlands are slowly depleting. We are running out of ponds, we are running out of farms because of modernization. In your research, include that. How do we cope with the fast modernization of society while at the same time ensuring that there is sustainability when it comes to food, when it comes to meat, when it comes to the fish requirements of society. So kaya ngayon ang daming ini-encourage, conduct your research. O paano bang magtanim ng palay sa bubong? Paano bang magtanim ng palay, magtanim ng gulay na walang tawag dito, na walang lupa. So you research about hydroponics. Paano ba maparaming yung aking stock sa palaisdaan? Then you engage in polyculture. Maglagay ka ng bangus, maglagay ka ng alimango, maglagay ng supo. You can do it. They are all into research. They are all fruits of research. But at the same time, they are also topics that need to be improved through research. So never lose that curiosity. Always be curious. Ano bang maganda? Ano bang nangyayari? Paano ba mas mai-improve tong ganito? So I believe you can do it. So wag masilaw sa, especially sa atin who have come from government schools. Always natin tinitreat ang ating sarili as we are inferior compared to those who come from the private schools, which is not true. Dami ding nagsasabi, ay dahil hindi ka UP, hindi ka magaling. It's not true. Other schools have their strengths, you have your strengths. If they can do research, you can do research. If they can use science and technology effectively, kaya nyo din yan. If they can relate well and they can help society, mas lalong kaya nyo din yan. There's no such thing as inferior or superior agriculturists. You just have to know where you stand, and you just have to know kung ano yung kaya mo and be good at it, excel at it, and don't give up even though there are challenges sa profession mo. Okay? Do you still have any other questions?
None so far, ma'am. Thank you very much for the opportunity to interview you, ma'am.
You are very much welcome.